welcome back to another episode of In the Game. I'm your reporter Elisha Qazi, and in this episode I'll be recapping all things WNBA Finals. This year's finals were one to watch, as the New York Liberty took on the Minnesota Lynx. Both teams had impressive seasons and had something to prove. Game 1 was very intense, to say the least. It was a very back and forth game with a high intensity crowd in Brooklyn. In the first quarter it looked like New York were going to pull off a blowout, but you can never count this Minnesota team out. At one point Minnesota was down 18 in the first half, but they continued to cut away at the lead. In the second half, New York continued to build their lead and were up 15 with 5 minutes left. Minnesota came out swinging and was able to cut the lead to 4. Courtney Williams makes a huge 4-point play. She scores an off-balance, highly contested 3 and was fouled. She hits her extra point and was able to force overtime. With a momentum shift created by Williams, Minnesota was able to win the game 95-93. In Game 2, New York was looking to tie up the series. They came out hot, scoring 31 in the first quarter. New York was able to keep their lead for the whole game. Laney Hamilton and Stewart were standouts during this game with 20 and 21 points respectively. The game ended 80-66. Game 3 was another close one. Back in Minnesota, the Lynx came out scoring and looking comfortable in their home court. As the game went on, New York continued to work away at Minnesota's lead, outscoring them in the second quarter and third quarter. In the fourth, New York was able to cut the lead to 1. New York got their first lead of the game with 1:30 to go with a layup from Jonquel Jones. Sabrina hits an important 3, and New York are able to go up 4 with 55 seconds left. Nafisa Collier was able to then tie up the game with 16 seconds left, but New York had the ball. The next play, Sabrina throws up a 28-foot shot, and it goes in, giving New York a 3-point lead with 1 second left. New York was able to win Game 3, 80-77. Game 4. Unlike the other games, this one did not have any big leads and big comebacks. It was close from the very beginning to the end. There was a total of 14 lead switches and 13 ties throughout the match. The game came down to 2 Bridget Carlton 3 throws. She scored both, giving Minnesota the lead with 2 seconds left, ending the game 82-80 and forcing a Game 5. Kayla McBride was a standout for the Lynx, getting herself 19 points on the night. Jonquel Jones was an important piece for the New York Liberty during the game, especially because Breanna Stewart struggled shooting. Liberty coach Sandy Brondello had a lot to say after the game, especially about the officiating and how she felt it was unfair and had a lot to do with their loss. In Game 5, New York looked uncomfortable in the first half. You wouldn't have thought it was a home game. By the end of the half, New York were down by 7 and went 0 from 9 from beyond the arc. In the second half, New York turned up and were able to outscore Minnesota 20-10 in the third quarter. The fourth quarter was tight. In the end, Breanna Stewart had an opportunity to tie the game, but missed both free throws. Minnesota was unable to capitalize on the misses, and in New York's next possession, the ref called the most outrageous foul call I've ever seen. This allows Stewart to go to the line again, and this time she makes no mistake, and makes both, tying the game 60-60, going into overtime. In overtime, the Lynx couldn't seem to get themselves a bucket and were outscored 2-7, with the final score being 62-67. The New York Liberty had been crowned WNBA champions for the first time in franchise history. After 28 years of building and 5 previous finals visits, they were able to secure a win. Stu and Sabrina both struggled a lot during this game with a combined 18 points, with Sabrina only getting 5 of those. German players Nayara Sarbali and Leonie Fibic were able to step up in big moments and bring them back into it. Jonquel Jones was named Finals MVP after another big performance, getting 17 points. Nafisa Collier again led the way for the Lynx, getting 22 points and 7 rebounds. Kayla McBride also played well, getting 21 points. Courtney Williams, who had been having a great finals, struggled a lot during this game, with her shots not really wanting a drop. She was only able to secure 4 points. Overall, this finals was so fun to watch and made me an even bigger basketball fan than I already was. It was a very dramatic way to end a very historic season. With the expansion draft coming soon, it'll be interesting to see what all these teams look like coming up next season. That's a wrap on all things WNBA. Let me know your thoughts on that foul call and the officiating overall during this finals. I've been your reporter Elisha Qazi, and I'll see you next time. Go Cougs!